Today we're going to use Descript app to make these little vertical shots that you see on my page. The point is to get yourself a 30-second to 60-second clip, add some caps, touch up your sound, and then get that on the platform. So this is basic, to be clear, but I've done 200 of these now. And with just a good, cleanly cut video with pro-looking caps on it, you'll get the same 400 views to 5,000 views. I've had clients that I started working with where they were getting 10 views. Their next video went over 1,000. So what I've found is like the 20% of hard effort that gets you 80% of the results is the good sound, which today I'm mic'd up on Zoom with the Q2U. I'm mic'd up with the Zoom microphone. And then also I have the wireless tap next to it. So I'm triple mic'd essentially. So the audio is number one. And then good lighting. I've got good lighting that I'm using for the ZV-10. And then I'm going to capture the screen on Zoom here and we'll share this. So on the screen, it's the script. I'm not going to show you how to upload the video itself. You can look up another YouTube video on that. I really want to focus on what it looks like to edit this. And also because I'm in a hotel right now, the upload speed is crap. Let's look at the finished result first. Let's see if this one shows up here.
If you're at a high level of your business, then you should be hiring a coach, hiring manager. No more problems.
So you guys can watch the rest of it on Instagram, but I do want you to notice that I didn't do any fancy scene zooms or anything, right? The caps aren't even jumping around. So let's get into the nitty gritty though, because I know that's why everyone's here. So this is a completely raw file and let's play it real quick just so you hear.
Of your business, then you should be hiring, coaching, hiring a
So did you hear the difference on the sound right off the bat? That's the first thing you should recognize. It had sort of this tinny sound to it because the studio sound will take, I've heard that the better your sound is, the less studio sound does, but the studio sound will take your sound and compress it and it comes out beautiful. So we're going to do that. But I just, for whatever reason, the neurosis in me, I always trim off the first two spaces, the beginning and the end. And then also you'll notice I'm down to 38 seconds. Now, again, I've done 200 of these, and I repeat the questions that have worked the best for me over the last 200 views. So I kind of know I'll get the prompt. It looks like I'm doing a presentation. I feel the sound bite and it comes out at like 40 seconds. So this one was about 38 raw. Don't be worried if yours come out and they're like a minute and a half or 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I have a client that I sit down with. He's a little slower spoken. And you will come out with 3 minutes sometimes, and I'm still gonna rip through his and edit it down to 30 seconds. All right, so I trimmed the top, and then I'm gonna click Studio Sound here. So now it's gonna start running the process, and you'll notice if you show your timeline, see how it's enhancing when I move my cursor on it? So it's enhancing, it'll be running through there, but you can still work on the file. So I'll go through here and listen to it, and it's been a while since I did this one, so I really am doing this live.
If you're at a high level of your business, then you should be hiring a coach, hiring manager. Manager that works for me.
Okay, this might be a bad example because I actually delivered it very smooth. I promise you I'm not that smooth normally. One thing to note is if you go into Underload, you can remove these filler words. I don't do that because it chops off a little bit too much, but what I do always do is I shorten word gaps, and that's probably the first thing that this needs. Now, this works, think of this like logic. So if a gap, and people get this wrong, they'll say if a gap is greater than 0.3 seconds or a half a second, make it 1 second. That's not logically sound. Just think about that for a minute. What you want it to do is if a gap is 0.2 seconds, bring it down to if it's greater than 0.2 seconds, you know what I mean? Bring it down to 0.2 seconds. Don't make it none or one, because then you just have all these uneven spaces. And in this case, it's telling me there's only 2 here. So we're going to shorten all. So let me run through it again. I can edit some of that out, but I just want to see if there's something I can delete. Also, I will pause on.
If you're at a high level of your business, then you should be.
Okay, do you hear how the sound changed? So the studio sound already kicked in. Somebody asked me today on Instagram if I really think it sounds better, and he was pointing that it sometimes sounds blown out. If you go to your studio sound, you can click the little gears here, and then my camera's. You can bump that down to 50%. So, and click enter. So let's hear that. I never do 50%, but I want you to hear the difference.
If you're at a high level of business, then you should.
It's subtle, right? It's not crazy. It brought in a little bit more of that echo. So I'm going to leave it at 90. And that's I've kind of been keeping mine at 90% lately just because I think it sounds a little too robotic when I have it partly enhanced. Now, also to be fair, I'm not doing it in a pro recording studio. The acoustics are actually good in this hotel. I'm in it a lot, but like it echoes off the wall. It sounds very spacey. So I've just accepted that because I'm focused on business first, and this is for all you subject matter experts out there, because I'm focused on business first, I care more about delivering the information and getting a decent video than I do about like bringing this pro sound quality everywhere I go. So I keep the Hollyland microphone, the Hollyland lavaliers. I do most of my recording on this, and I just accept that there's going to be a little bit of robotics. Someone left a crap comment on a YouTube video today. Sound balancing, dog, and whatever. Did you get the point? Did you get the message? Did you find value in the video? That's it. So as long as you sound close to your audience, in my experience, it goes a long way. You don't have to worry about getting in there in like Adobe Pro and doing all this crazy balancing. So what I wanted to point out in this script then is that I don't love what I'm saying here. It's just not a strong hook.
If you're at a level of your business, then you should be hiring managers.
So this own, if you want more space to look at the timeline, you could drag that up there, especially if you have elements. So I'm just going to start removing some of these word gaps because it's not tight. And again, it's not the strongest hook, but I do like, you don't want more emails. I don't want more problems coming across my inbox. If someone gets past this 3 seconds, it's sort of a dog whistle. If you're at a high level of your business, a stronger hook would have been like, listen, this isn't a popular opinion, but, and then someone's like, oh, what's he going to say? So this video did all right. So I know people watched it. It had decent retention. So I'm going to leave it as that. But to make it a little choppier, I'll go into these words right here on aptitude. If you right click that, you can edit word gap to none. And let's do it on advance. See how it's showing me on advancing that little gap? So I know there's a gap there too. So is just making sure that she is advancing. And this will create sort of what they call jump cuts in the actual screen right here. But honestly, I don't care. If you can add in B-roll if you want to get that out of the way, but otherwise it just doesn't matter. People want to hear, a lot of people are listening. This is a 38-second clip. No one's jumping away from that.
If you're at a high level of your business, then you should be hiring and then coaching, hiring and managing.
Okay, in fact, I'm looking now. I have a good ear for this, and it's harder when this is your own voice. When I do it for my clients, I can edit a lot quicker because I don't have ego invested in it. So I know what I'm saying there, but also I just caught that and is just enough for someone to be like, all right, here's another loser dude, whatever, talking business, and they bounce out. So let's make that tight. You should be hiring.
You're coaching, hiring and managing.
You see how it did a little jump there? It doesn't matter. Just roll with it.
I don't want more emails. I don't want more problems coming across my inbox. I have a manager that works for me.
All right, did I pause on manager? There you go. Let's see. Now, the one thing I encourage you to do is as you're removing gaps like that, go back and listen to it. Make sure it doesn't sound crazy.
Inbox. I have a manager that works.
Whew, see, that's much better. And again, it's hard because it's my voice. I'm looking at it. I love everything I'm saying, but just getting out that little dramatic pause, they're like, okay, what's going on? And by the way, do me a favor. If you're finding value in this, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and then leave me a comment. What do you want to see more of? I've been on the business management side, but I want to get super technical for at least the next 2 quarters just to get some of you guys up to speed on the ZVE10, some good lighting, and delivering some value to the market. So hit those buttons for me.
For me, she runs a team of 2 other people. I spend all the time in that one-on-ones just making sure that she is advancing her own attitude, career development, because I don't want to be in there solving her problems. Does that make sense? When you're making those hires, you want them to create a lift for you, create space, and solve more problems than they actually do. So don't look for man.
Okay, here's something interesting. I tried to end these with a call to action or whatever. I would tell you every second matters, and 38 seconds is a good length, but my point was kind of done here. Then they actually dump in your inbox. So I'm just going to get rid of these last few sentences. So now I'm down to 33 seconds. And if I had a cool call to action, sometimes I say, do you know what I mean? I would leave it in there, or I try to listen to it. If the energy's not too off or the cadence is good, I'll leave it. But in this case, it's kind of tight. And I'm thinking if you're ever like double emphasizing a point,
because I don't, they're solving her problems. Does that make sense? When you're making those hires, you want them to create a lift for you, create space, and solve more and they actually box.
So I love that I said create lift for them, but my point is you want them to create space and solve more problems than they actually dump in your inbox. If this, here's a caveat, I want you to remember this. The most important few seconds of your video are right here. It's going to be the 3 seconds. So again, I'm okay because it says if you're at a high level of your business, it's not the strongest hook, but it works. And as long as they hit that 3 seconds, you've got the view. The first 3 seconds matter the most. And then for effects, the first half of the video matters most. Most of your good retention will be 40 to 50%, and then outstanding retention will be like 80 to 120, which means some people rewatch the video. So when I get to a sentence right here that's in what, second 26, bro, let it go. I don't care. In fact, I have 2 editors now and I give them the same criteria. I want to save my own time. When I'm editing my clients' videos and mine, and I have to get through like 5 of these per day, just let it go. So I would say technically this line should go, but because we're at the end of the video, I'm just going to leave it. Now, a couple cool little tips. Stay with me and we'll do this. There are a number of captions available. Let's get this little face out of the way. You can use these. They all look a little basic. You know, I've liked this one and just changed the color. What I encourage you to do is play with the settings of the captions and then go back and use the one that you like. What I want you to see is see how I'm in the timeline. You can click on that element and I'm going to Control C it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back into my project that I'm working on. This is key. This is going to save you a lot of time. And then I'm going to Control V. It will load the captions at the same level. Now, we could spend a whole 30 minutes on a caption tutorial. I'm not going to do that one right now. What I want to show you is 3 things. What I try to look for is text level, and it will snap into the middle here. The framing here allows it. I kind of frame myself wide, so I can put it right up there in the middle if I want, but normally I'm looking for my chest, and also the default when you load it from the side over here will be about 60. I don't know if this is pixels or whatever, but the number's gonna be 60. I always set it to 100, and then I'll move it to 120 if I'm trying to emphasize something. So here's just the one advanced thing I'll show you. You can do scenes with the slash button. Stay with me. So
If you're at a high level of your business, then you
boom. All right. So if you're at a high level of your business, all I did is hit the slash and the slash. It created a scene here. And you'll notice I now have a 3-scene video. All right. What's brilliant about this? Let's say you've started at the chest height. All right. And then in this scene, we're going to take the caps and see how I have selected current scene on the screen. It's going to leave it that. I'm going to make this 120. Okay, so now it's bigger, and I'm going to pop that right in the middle. So now, play it again.
if you're at a high level of your business, then you should be high.
Bam. So you see it's subtle, but those little subtleties will get you a little more engagement. And those little subtleties will set you apart from the competition. And honestly, that's all you actually need to do to have outstanding videos. So the last thing I'll point out, again with subtleties, if you go into your screen, anytime you click on this scene right here and you go into the layer, I can play with little things like opacity. So I'm going to make this 75%. Let's make it so we're not so drastic looking. Okay, now play it back.
If you're at a high level of your business, then you should.
Oh my goodness. So look, that's it. There's little things that you can do. My point is, as a business owner, as a subject matter expert, you should be delivering punchy core value to your audience. And if you want to get fancy edits, hire it out to someone else. I have some recommendations I can send you. Reach out to me in DMs or comments. But otherwise, don't go crazy. This took the recording, we're at what, 21 minutes right now? And honestly, if I wasn't talking to you guys, I could have had this whole thing done in 10 because it was kind of a clean edit. If you like this video, I want you to hit like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.